I was reminded of this. I took my younger nephew, who was probably 5 or 6 at the time, to Costco. And it was supposed to be a short trip. Costco doesn't work like that. I didn't remember that. So we're just going to pick up a couple of things, and we get in the store, and I don't know if you have young people in your life, but they find the other human being who's about their age, no matter how large the crowd is, like within minutes, right? So he found the other 5 or 6-year-old little boy, and they were like, I don't know, hide and go seek and leapfrog and tag all the way through the store, right? And we happened to be walking the aisles at about the same rate, so we were kind of with each other for at least, I don't know, 30 minutes or more while we were in the store. And then we got in line, and they happened to get in line behind us, so that was another, you tell me, right? 45 minutes in line. So finally we were done first, and so I turned to my nephew very kind of casually, and I was like, okay, Xander, it's time to go. And he started sobbing. Oh, no. Now I'm having this moment of like, what I love about Costco is they don't have that temptation moment where there's like candy and toys and like, it's like a drama setup, right? And I'm like, I was like looking around like, what is it that I didn't get you? Because I want to be the good aunt and I want to get it for you, and I'm not seeing anything in his hands and I'm missing it. And he's just crying and crying and crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, I don't get it. And so between his sobs, he sort of hiccups out, he's my best friend. I'm bitter. So I'm like, what? I'm like, literally, I'm thinking, we've been here an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. There's no way this child is your best friend. Like, these are all the thoughts. I'm not going to call them real thoughts, pseudo thoughts that are going through my head. And then I'm like, oh, really? He's your best friend? All right, prove it. I'm the adult here. Listen to my voice. Okay. So I turned to my nephew and I'm like, oh, what's his name? I did, I swear. I did that. And I remember looking at his face. I'll never forget his face. He was looking at me like, what is she asking me? Why is this important? If I could answer her question, she would believe me. Like, you could just see all of this in his face. And he was like, oh, forget it. And then he just broke into another round of sobs, you know, because of course he didn't know his name, because is the name relevant? Absolutely not. But in my view, it was. I think something shifted for me at that moment when I saw him working so hard to try and get me to understand what was happening for him. And to be honest, at that moment, I did shift. I remember being little and making these really amazingly close friendships in no time at all. And I didn't know their names. I didn't care. I was like, oh, this was great. See you tomorrow, same time? Okay, great. Who was that? I don't know. I didn't ask what their parents did for a living or what their address was or their zip code or their family car make or model or year. I didn't care. We had a super great bond. We liked each other. We'd do it again. That was how we did it. And I'd forgotten every time I was pulled away from those relationships, from moving or changing classrooms or changing schools, I never got a chance to say goodbye. I never got a chance to grieve it. And in fact, if I tried to show how much I cared, I was mocked, made fun of, told to get over it. Oh, you're little, it can't be that possibly that deep, you can't have connected that deeply that quickly, on and on and on. And there I was passing the whole package over again to my nephew. And I remember in that moment, and this all happened so fast, it was like a flash. I just got on the floor with him in Costco, and I just held him, and I said, I'm so sorry, we're gonna have to leave your best friend right now. Go ahead and just sob about it. And we were there for a while, and he worked his way through the grieving, and he was able to say goodbye. Now, this wasn't about me necessarily like exchanging numbers and arranging play dates. Like, it's not about that. It could have been. But mostly it was about acknowledging that there had been a deep connection that was real. And I was taking him away from this person that he felt connected with, that he probably was never going to see again, and he knew it. Is it any wonder that we're so much more guarded as adults from letting ourselves fall madly in love with people? We're always assessing, can I trust this? Are you real? The million questions, the gauging, checking out, judging, discerning constantly. There was none of that there. And I would offer that if we'd been allowed a chance to grieve every goodbye that we had, it wouldn't be there now. And that young people are our best models for how to be truly present in whatever the gift of the person in front of us has to offer, and to fall in love with that.